Hello. I'm going to show you the books that are on my current reading list. I have begun reading through all of Agatha Christie's murder mysteries, and I have started with her Hercule Peril novels. This is Agatha Christie's first novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And on the cover of this book is a large English manor. This book was originally published in 1921. And this book has 153 pages. The description on the back reads, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. When an aging heiress is found fatally poisoned, the amazing Hercule Peril, brilliant Belgian criminal investigator, is brought out of retirement to solve the case. In this classic tale of murder, jealousy, and greed, Agatha Christie introduced the famed sleuth, who is immediately confronted by mysteries within a mystery. A door bolted from the inside of the victim's room, the disappearance of a coffee cup believed to have held the poison, the charred remains of a will, a strange fragment of fabric, and a curious rug stain found near the body. All are puzzling pieces of evidence in a crime for which there is no shortage of suspects, not the least of which are the victim's philandering husband, an assortment of unhappy relatives, and an extremely outspoken hired companion. A perennial favorite with mystery fans since it was first published in 1921, this entertaining and tautly constructed murder mystery easily placed its author among the most accomplished and entertaining writers in the genre. This next book is Agatha Christie's The Murder on the Links. And this picture on the cover has several people golfing on a golf course. And here is the golf ball. This book was originally published in 1923, and she dedicated it to my husband, a fellow enthusiast for detective stories, and to whom I am indebted for much helpful advice and criticism. This book has 249 pages. The description on the back reads, "The murder on the links. An urgent cry for help brings Hercule Peril to France, but he arrives too late to save his client, whose brutally stabbed body now lies face down in a shallow grave on a golf course. But why is the dead man wearing an overcoat that is too big for him, and for whom was the impassioned love letter in the pocket?" Before Peril can answer these questions, the case is turned upside down by the discovery of a second identically murdered corpse. Gregory Maguire, of the New York Times best-selling author of Wicked, writes, "Welcome back, Miss Christie. Our current hellions can do with a reminder of how to slaughter an audience with a little bit of style." And here's a short biography of Agatha Christie. It reads, "Agatha Christie is the most widely published author of all time, outsold only by the Bible and Shakespeare. Her books have sold more than 1 billion copies in English and another 1 billion in 100 foreign languages. She died in 1976. This Agatha Christie book is called The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. And on the cover we have a very old style phone. This book was originally published in 1926, and she dedicated it to Punky, who likes an orthodox detective story, murder, inquest, and suspicion falling on everyone in turn. And this book has 286 pages in it. The description on the back reads, "The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Roger Ackroyd knew too much. He knew that the woman he loved had poisoned her brutal first husband. He suspected also that someone had been blackmailing her. Then tragically came the news that she had taken her own life with a drug overdose. But the Evening Post brought Roger one last fatal scrap of information. Unfortunately, before he could finish reading the letter, he was stabbed to death. The New York Times best-selling author of the Ethan Cage Adventures, William Dietrich, writes, Agatha Christie had a mind like a mousetrap and taught me, in novels like The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, the pleasure of literary surprise. This book is Agatha Christie's The Mystery of the Blue Train, and on the cover is a very old-timey looking train with the smoke coming out of it. This book was originally published in 1928, and she dedicated it to the two distinguished members of the OFD, Carlotta and Peter. And this book has 298 pages. The description on the back reads, The Mystery of the Blue Train. When the luxurious blue train arrives at Nice, a guard attempts to wake serene Ruth Kettering from her slumbers, but she will never wake again, for a heavy blow has killed her, disfiguring her features almost beyond recognition. What is more, her precious rubies are missing. The prime suspect is Ruth's estranged husband, Derek. Yet Hercule Peril is not convinced, so he stages an eerie reenactment of the journey, complete with the murderer on board. Award-winning author of Stage Struck, Peter Lovesey, writes, No one is better at misdirection than Agatha Christie. She dangles the key to the mystery in front of you, and you still don't see it. This book is Agatha Christie's Peril at End House, and it has a picture of a 2-story house, and through the window a light is on and you can make out a mysterious figure. This book was originally published in 1932, and she dedicated it to Eden Philpotts, to whom I shall always be grateful for his friendship and the encouragement he gave me many years ago. And this book has 226 pages in it. On the back it reads, Peril at End House. On holiday on the Cornish Riviera, Hercule Poirot is alarmed to hear pretty Nick Buckley describe her recent accidental brushes with death. First on a treacherous corner's hillside, the brakes on her car failed. Then on a coastal path, a falling boulder missed her by inches. Later, an oil painting fell and almost crushed her in bed. So when Peril finds a bullet hole in Nick's sun hat, he decides that this girl needs his help. Can he find the would-be killer before he hits his target? New York Times best-selling author of In the Woods, Tana French writes, reading a perfectly plotted Agatha Christie is like crunching into a perfect apple. That pure, crisp, absolute satisfaction. This is Agatha Christie's 3-act tragedy. And the picture on this cover is of a cocktail glass that's spilled out to what looks like blood and an olive with a toothpick through it. This book was originally published in 1934, and she dedicated it to my friends Jeffrey and Violet Shipston. And this book has 249 pages. Three-act tragedy. Sir Charles Cartwright should have known better than to allow 13 guests to sit down for dinner, for at the end of the evening one of them is dead, choked by a cocktail that contained no trace of poison. Predictable, says Hercule Poirot, the great detective, but entirely unpredictable is that he can find absolutely no motive for murder. New York Times best-selling author Joseph Wamba writes, "There has never been, and probably never will be, a PI more fun to observe and listen to than Hercule Peril." My last book is Agatha Christie's Death in the Clouds. And the picture has what appears to be a cloudy sky and a very large wasp. This book was originally published in 1935. And she dedicated it to Ormond Beadle. And this book has 253 pages. The back reads, "Death in the Clouds. From seat 9, Hercule Peril was ideally placed to observe his fellow passengers. Over to his right sat a pretty young woman, clearly infatuated with the man opposite. Ahead, in seat number 13, sat a countess with a poorly concealed cocaine habit. Across the gangway, in seat number 8, a detective writer was being troubled by an aggressive wasp. What Peril did not yet realize was that behind him, in seat number 2, sat the slumped, lifeless body of a woman. Author of the Dazzle and Pasco mysteries, Reginald Hill writes, "As a crime writer, I quickly realized that I'd already learned a great deal from Agatha Christie, and even after 4 decades in the game, I feel I'm still learning." I really appreciate you stopping by and spending a little time with me. I hope you have a nice, peaceful, relaxing day. Bye-bye.